Okay, Dark Side of the Moon. Remember, we're accentuating seasons of life. We started out with breathe, which is the beginning of life, hope, promise, calling, responsibility. Then we gravitated towards time and how we think we have a lot in our youth and there's only so much, our days are ordained and all that kind of stuff. How are we going to be the best use of our time? And then we got into money, this season of life when we're making money, we're productive, but not wanting money to possess us. Now, a lot of people think this song, Us and Them, is actually about war. Maybe it is. But again, with a little latitude, I think we have license to look at it from a couple different ways because we're looking at art, and that's what a song is. It's art. I'm going to say that Us and Them is, in keeping with the theme of the album, is actually also a season of life. And I think it's a season of life beyond the working years that we talked about in money. I think it's a season of life about growing older and becoming more fixed in your ways, more settled and narrow-minded in your mindset. And actually, like the song title says, Us and Them, becoming us and them, the older generation and the younger generation, a way of thinking that's no longer relevant in the eyes of culture, probably not prudent, too conservative, and the younger generation. I think elderly people enter into this alienation in this Western culture, not in Eastern cultures. I think they're actually respected in Eastern cultures. But this season of life where there is this dichotomy between the old and the young, between perceived uselessness and usefulness, between the end of promise and the beginning of promise, between being misunderstood and understood. And Waters gives us this song. I think when we look at the lyrics that Waters writes, I think we see him in a season of life in 73 through 79 where he was experiencing certain things. But if you were to sit down with him today, looking back, his mind would be in a totally different place. Probably more of an us and them kind of philosophy or ideology. Anyway, generation gaps, they happen, but are they necessary? I'm of the mindset there's a lot to be learned from an older generation. And I'm of a mindset that a younger generation doesn't know all of they think they know. And there are some trials and tribulations and challenges in life that an older generation has experienced. And out of that, they have a wealth of wisdom to speak to a younger generation. I think that's just God's economy. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. And I think younger people will have something to say to those coming up. And I think we need a mutual respect for one another. I like the fact that this album recognizes different stages and things to accentuate in life as we grow and mature. Anyway, this is something to think about. Are you reaching out to, or is an older generation reaching out to you, or particularly if you're younger, are you getting wise counsel from someone beyond your peers? You ought to. There ought to be a professor, there ought to be an administrator, there ought to be a campus president, there ought to be someone in your life that speaks from a different perspective. So it's more we than us and them. Us and them robs us of wisdom. The we togetherness and the bridging of generations helps us all. The life point is there's a safety in a multitude of counselors. And I would go on to say of various ages as well, us and them, think about it. Don't let your peers determine your future by giving you a counsel based on an abbreviated life. Find someone who's been there and done there, got the t-shirt, and can speak truth into your life. That's what pastors are for. That's what counselors are for. That's what teachers are for. They have something to say to you. Anyway, heed that advice. It's good advice. Us and them, hopefully becoming more of a we.